Hello everyone, and welcome to my channel. At the start of the year, I finished making this toddler-sized Goodtimeswithscar made of crochet, stitched together piece by piece. But yeah, seeing as making him is maybe one of the best things I've ever done, because hello, I will be soaring to new heights and taking on the challenge of a different creature. BdoubleO100. Our dear Bdubs. We all know him, we all love him. His beautiful face stares deep into our soul. And I am going to make him. And better than just making him, I'm going to make him squeak. Like a squeaky toy, like a dog toy, like a chew toy. And I'll be taking you guys through the whole process. Or most of the process. Goodtimeswithscar is obviously huge and beautiful and the nicest thing in the world. Sorry, second nicest thing. You're the nicest thing in the world, Zara. We all know this. I say it to you every day. She's trying to go to bed right now. If you notice me talking kind of softly, it's because it's kind of 11 p.m. Maybe later. I haven't checked in a minute. Could be 11:30. I've mentioned before, each pixel is equivalent to 3x3 single crochet stitches. Bdubs I'll be making a little smaller. He's going to be at a scale of 2x2 stitches. Wind up being about this size, which is less perfect and soft and huggable, but it's more appropriate for the whole squeaky toy deal. And also, it hopefully won't take me another 6 months. But without further ado, let's get into it. The very first thing I did was sketch out a plan. I knew from the start that I wanted to simplify his beautiful moss cloak down into just 2 shades of green, because working with any more than that would just be impossible. I followed this pattern loosely. You can also see in the corner over there that I was toying with the idea of giving him a hood, but I ended up scrapping that. The next step was going to the craft store to buy myself some yarn, and I got to give Crochet Goodtimeswithscar a lovely existential crisis in the process. While I was there, I also managed my own little breakdown on the aisle floor while choosing colours. I picked these ones. Next I made his beautiful face. Next, the alternating moss colours. Following that pattern, building it bit by bit until... oh god, okay, so there's this thing. That's the squeaker. I'm not thrilled about this either. But we move on. We survive. We cope. We handle the tribulations that life has given us, such as that. It was the only squeaker toy that properly fit the shape of the Bdubs I was aiming for. But anyway, here's me making the rest of the head panels. They turned out pretty good, if I were to say so of myself. I'm measuring Bdubs against the inner creature here. Since it goes through both his head and his body, I'll need to make some custom parts, just so it actually fits inside. So I start a panel, build it out. Over here, you can see me figuring that out as I go along. I had to find a way to keep a rectangular gap in the center of the piece that the squeak would both fit through and be aligned correctly with the rest of the plush. So I built up a small section from the sidemost stitches and bridged the rest of the way across with a long series of chains. Then I had to get it back down. 2, 3, 4, I think. I'll go like... oh boy, the tension is all messed up here, surely. But, you know, I got that. I look bald from that angle. I didn't have a hair tie there, I just tied it in a knot. Let me check if this fits over the wretched thing. This wretched, smiling thing. It's too loud. I've doomed myself. Will this fit? That looks like it's working. I'm sure there are real ways of doing this, but I don't know. Do I just stitch sideways? I stitch sideways? Okay. That is functional. I could do a stitch through whatever that is. It's actually literally exactly the same as sculpting, but different. And I'll just go back to my usual rows. That's not half bad. The face is so silly, but it also kind of fits Bdubs if you think about it. So now we've got this. You might be thinking, this is way to the side. Shouldn't it be halfway through? With the way this is, you'll notice the feet are really big at the bottom. The side panel of it would basically go a bit like that. That's where the thing is. But yeah. Don't look at my room behind me. I have a confession to make. I was planning on filming a lot more of the progress of making him, but I didn't. Here he is in his current form, and what I realized is that since he does not yet have arms or legs and is got this sort of weird green moss body, and also because he is made at a smaller scale than the Scar plush, when you get these two together, it looks like he's a tiny little baby. Oh my gosh, isn't that cute? Oh, I love that. I love that. I'm keeping that. Oh my gosh, they're so cozy. What was I talking about? In the time that I've, made this, a lot has happened. I have been placing images of him on the internet, and people like them. He's received a lot of attention and a lot of nicknames, such as Bdubs. I like that one. He's like a swaddled baby. He's like a worm. I like to say he's sort of got that caterpillar drip, as well as Eraserhead Bdubs. Also a new Roblox one. Like there's these little... He's got fan art. I don't know how that happened. Oh yeah, that was the other one. He's just like the baby Jesus and Scar's the Virgin Mary. I don't know why so many people have made that comparison. I don't know if you guys know, but there can be like multiple children held in their parents' arms. Not that Scar's his parent. Look, I think that it's like Scar has met his new baby brother, if you want to go by like limited life lore. Anyway, he doesn't have arms, and I love him. It's so loud it's making me flinch, but that's okay. I rolled him down a hill a couple days ago. I got an anonymous Tumblr ask saying, I don't even know him, it's rolling down a hill for me. I was carrying him around. I've been carrying him around. I was carrying him around, and I actually like found an area that had a slope, and I just rolled him down the hill. It was really good. Anyway, this exists, and I'm not sure where to go from here, because everyone really loves him. As a funny little worm, myself included. However, the plan was just to like make an actual Bdubs plush. So what I might do, I think I'll make him detachable. Add like a little clear button here and a button hole in the arm so I can like clip it on. And eventually this will get sewn together properly. But yeah, this is where we're at. It's pretty good. And then I guess this video will cut to whatever I decide to do next. I got a few things of buttons around. I'm looking over them and I'm seeing these two right here. I have these already made arm panels. The next one could just have a little gap in the stitch. I might make a little test thing actually. Just made this thing. It's got a tiny little gap there. I stitched like normal, and then I just, instead of going in the stitch, I just skipped it, but then chained over the top and then just went to the next one. And you can just kind of, you can push it through, but it takes a tiny bit of effort, which I think is good because I don't want his arms just falling off. I want to take them off so he looks like a funny little baby. I feel like I've got to mention just how perfect these colours are. The darker shade of green was literally the last one they had of that colour on clearance, and it went perfectly with the other. So I'm very grateful for that. Now there is a lot of colour switching involved in this design, which is in itself a pretty simple thing to do, but when you're switching colours every 2 stitches, it gets to be a lot. Another tip I wanted to mention is that when you're doing row after row of the same sort of stitch like this, you end up with these sort of these lines right here. And the thing about those lines is that if you're working at a scale like this Bdubs, where 1 pixel equals an even amount of stitches, you can utilize that to make the pixels have really nice crisp edges, whereas on the other side it'll be a bit blurrier. And that's just a matter of which side you make front facing, which, if the design isn't symmetrical, you will have to plan for. But yeah, thing to keep in mind if you want to make one yourself. Oh my gosh, have a look at this! I'm kind of surprised by how happy I am just kind of seeing this, because I was just so attached to his swaddled baby form. So if we sort of place them together, it starts to get this form, and it's like, okay, I can see, it's like, that's a Bdubs. That's a bit of a Bdubs. Oh my goodness. I realized that the clear buttons are just like really bright white against the rest of the plush. So I did a bit of digging, and I found a couple of these against here, not too noticeable. So I'm gonna go ahead, stitch that on. They have the pound of flesh. That doesn't look too bad. Let's see if we can pop these together. Oh. Oh. Aha! He has an arm, and it can rotate freely, which is very fun, very Minecraft. This is obviously very flimsy because I took his guts out. Oh my goodness, that's Bdubs! And he doesn't look like a 3-month-old infant anymore. Bdubs. Arm. Arm. He is being created. Also, what have we here? I put these together over just a couple hours last night, mostly while hanging out with my friend. And it's gone very nicely. It is incredible how much faster it is to do a solid block of black color versus this meticulous green and other green color switching every, 2 stitches. So this has turned out beautifully and so much quicker than the rest of him. And I'm excited about it. Ta-da! Next up, I got myself perfectly couch cozy to stitch these panels together, and in the background, I was watching a video by the BdoubleO himself.
A minecart that just evenly distributes some items among them, and so that's kind of the game plan, but I've got a really cool building plan for it.
We've got a bit of a leg shape going now. I started to figure out a solution for the detachability of the legs, but we have a set of these little hook clasp things, and I'm thinking if this hook were to go on the underside of the body and this one were to go on the edge of the legs, clip on, and I think it'll be pretty discreet.
We're gonna make some repeaters and some torches. You know why? Because it's time for Redstone with Bdubs.
Once the legs were all stitched together, I had no problem stitching all the hooks in, but I really wasn't sure how to approach the torso. I could have just slapped it on, but looking at it, it started to seem like the best way to add them would be while the bottom seam was open, so I could sew them inside and leave the loopy section just kind of poking out. The problem is, that seam had long since been sewn shut, so if I really wanted to add them how I wanted, I'd need to temporarily undo that seam. And well, something like that takes certain careful measures. Scalpel, sewing scissors, thread, loops, yarn. squeak lining. Give me 10 cc's of polyfill stat. Phew, he's stabilizing. Ta-da! I just remembered that I'm also filming this part of the video at 11 p.m. That's a little softer. I don't think people would be asleep just yet. Just maybe close to it. But he's done, he's real! Oh my gosh, he's so good. Are you kidding me? Are you kidding me? Are you kidding me? Are you kidding me? I made that. He's recovered. He's recovered from his surgery. I don't know why I did that. Did you guys like it? Did you guys? I will say, I might show on screen a message I received that I still think about a lot. Anyway, he's recovered very well. He's a healthy, happy, growing young boy with a beautiful singing voice. But, okay, close up a little. Leg joint. And the arms as well, 12. But I'll just demonstrate the detachability. The legs, they're pretty quick to detach. Basically, like this. And we can see here the bits I added during surgery. They're actually surprisingly hard to see. And then here, we got these. Ba ba ba. And I'll do a little close-up of joining it on. Ta-da! The arms as well. Find the edge, and then comes off the button. And before you know it, we'll have ourselves a GRUB thing. I can't get over that I just have these in my house. There's 2 of them. Are you kidding me? This is my life. Just to note, this is a new channel for my craft stuff, which is just a really fun thing. My main channel and my main everything everywhere is Sleepy Ghost. I've got a bunch of animatics there, and the first little introduction to him, but all the craft stuff's gonna be here, which is exciting. Also, I spent forever cleaning and redecorating my entire shelf with the secret ulterior motivation of maybe I can use it as YouTube backdrop if I have like a pretty shelf behind me, which I wanted to make it nice and neat anyways.